Take 2 tracks and call us in the morning. It's the Spin Doctors. We are back with our, I think, probably first ever night recording. I don't know if this is going to be a different vibe than usual. We usually record during the early afternoon. And this is our first ever. It's almost 8 o'clock. This is the latest podcast that I have recorded, at least today. Certainly, within the last couple of hours, it's the latest. And of course, I say I a lot, and I should tell you who that I is, because the I is the thing among all of us that we... What am I going to shut up? I am Rick Storer. I am the host here at the Spin Doctors podcast, or I'm the host around these parts. I'm the podcast bartender. You'll find me behind the podcast bar, polishing the podcast glasses with my podcast rag that I also wipe my head with, which doesn't seem very sanitary, but it does seem par for the course in the podcast bar. And my good buddy, the piano playing jokester that accompanies me wherever I go, any bar that I open up shop at, you got to have your co-conspirator, either an investor or, in my case, he plays the jokey piano with its ragtime tunes to entertain the cowboys and the cow ladies and the cow persons. We're a very progressive podcast bar in the Old West, apparently. And if you bust through our saloon doors, you'll see him sitting there. It's my good friend, Nick Malizia.
Finally, my God. I don't know how you're breathing right now. I never know when to stop. Yeah. Well, hi.
Hi, Nick.
Nighttime podcast. This is the closest to a out and about night out with the friends I have been to in many a months. So this is cool,
right? It kind of feels like a party time with friends. Like, you would go out, you would wait all day, and then the sun would go down. The sun feels like it's the party blocker. Like, the sun cock blocks a good time. I don't know what it is about the sun, but
100%.
When it's up, the party can't start yet, and then when it starts to come back up, that's when the party's over. Like, a party happens at nighttime. And that's what we're doing. We're doing a podcast party.
Oh, totally. And especially, whenever the sun comes up, that it's always like it's never a good sign. So,
nope.
Cock blocking the moon.
Yeah, exactly. The moon is where the party happens. Like,
the moon fucks.
The moon fucks. The moon has real big dick energy. Like,
oh, yes.
The moon is just a giant testicle full of testosterone. That thing. Nope. Is it a lady? Our guest is shaking her head. The moon is arguably neither, but
the moon is feminine.
Historically,
I get a feminine mood from the moon.
All right, then the moon's ovary. Is that what you want? The moon's a big ass ovary full of estrogen, and it's so much estrogen. There's a crying baby in the background.
Yes,
it just generates crying babies at nighttime and parties.
Yep. If you listen real quietly, children, you can hear the moon crying at night because it's made bad choices.
Oh, I today I've learned that I am the moon.
Today, speaking of babies, I went to Target and bought a baby. No, they were all out. They were sold out of babies.
Yeah, people have been hoarding them for the pandemic.
But I was going to go get some deodorant, some toothbrush, basic toiletries. Mom wanted me to pick up some baby powder for herself. And it's like, no problem, Ma. But it's in the baby section. And I'm looking. I can't find it. And there's another guy there. And he's on the phone with his wife. He's being really quiet. And he's it was just so classic. I can't find it. I'm in that aisle right now. No, yeah, I'm at Target. It was just oh, man. And then a lady came over and was like, hey, do you need any help? I'm like, nah, I'm good. And she's like, getting anything for the little one? I was like, oh, no, God, no. Do not. This is why I did not want to be in this section. I don't want that vibe coming towards me of thinking I'm taking care of a small child. And then
that's
another
the only person
up,
that has ever thought that you were capable of taking care of a small child in the history of the universe.
Oh, 100%, easily. And it made me so uncomfortable. I felt more comfortable, if my girlfriend needed me, even my mom needed me to buy tampons or something.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, hey, good son, good boyfriend, whatever. Hopefully it's not the same thing. But baby things, I'm like, I don't want that connection at all, okay?
Yeah.
And it was very uncomfortable. And then the second person asked me if I needed help, and I said, no, it's for my mom. And then she went, oh, okay, and kind of got shocked. And then just for the sake of it, because I'm like, I'm never coming back here again, I was like, yeah, while I have you here, so here's the powder. Where are the adult diapers? And she was just like, I was like, all right, I'm out of here. No more time at Target for a couple months.
You should have bought condoms. You bought condoms for your mother. Be like, no, my mom
Round
fucks.
two.
Like, my mom's like the moon. She fucks hard, and she's where the party gets started. And speaking of women bringing the party, it's time for our guest to arrive because she's gonna bring the real party. She is the very funny and talented comedian from San Jose, right? San Jose, East Bay area. She is the host of the Okay So Like podcast. Okay, let me try this again. She's the host of the Okay So Like not so late night show. It is a comedy show / chat hangout where she has guests and comedians on and has a great time. And she has a podcast of her own called That Good Shit that I was fortunate enough to be on. Let me bring to the panel, stage, podcast, forefront of your attention, Miss Adrianna McCain.
Hi!
How are you doing, Adrianna?
I just absolutely blew out the listeners' eardrums, so my bad. I'm great. Yeah, when you started saying, like, podcast, I was like, no, Rick, it's not that kind of medium. It's visual.
Right.
It's not just audio.
I get so wrapped up in what I'm doing that sometimes I that bleeds out into what I'm trying to plug for other people.
Yeah. No, the idea that other people are not experiencing life at the same time and with the same experience that you are
Exactly.
is like, for some people it's just like, oh
yeah, I have no empathy. I can't understand what it's like to be in anybody else's shoes.
Yeah, no, it's all about me, baby.
I like the idea of Rick on a first date, and like they're like trying to get to know each other, and like they're so different, and finally Rick gets frustrated, goes, oh, God, why can't you just live the same life as I, and that way we can be similar? God.
That's why I'm single. I haven't been able to date myself yet.
You don't want to, man.
It is. If I've learned anything, if I've learned anything from 30 Rock, it's that dating yourself is a double-edged sword, and it's something that I know that I don't want to do. Like, I think when it comes to dating another person, you want to date somebody that's going to be similar enough to you, like in the shit that matters.
Right.
Like okay, their
you want them to be another human being, first of all.
Yeah. With their own interests and stuff, but also like to have no overlap is like, well, what are we going to talk about?
Right. Like if you were dating a turtle, you wouldn't have a lot in common.
No, except that I too love carrots and slow walking.
Carrots,
and
historically,
biting tips of penises.
What
off.
I imagine a turtle eats every day. A carrot.
Remember those Ninja Turtles always eating those carrots?
Yeah. I also love hanging out with rats and collecting Japanese weapons.
Oh, so you're a weeb too.
Yes. No,
another
that
person
is,
of culture, I see.
Yes, we're not so different, you and I. That is, you ever think about, like, the different kinds of vibes you put out, like, to people?
Oh.
Like, I think that I might have, like, the energy of somebody that has watched a lot of anime, and it's definitely not true.
Oh, yeah? You do kind of carry that energy. I would not.
I carry energy like I don't think I carry the energy of like I've been a weeb my entire life, but I very much I think come off to people like I watched a lot of anime as a child.
Yeah,
and that's not true.
You seem like a person who has a favorite Sailor Scout.
I mean, I do. That's called being a young millennial girl.
There it is. Yes.
That's
not
after
weeb
Dragon Ball
shit.
Z.
That is not weeb shit, and for the record, it's Sailor Jupiter because I dig her vibe. But yeah,
what
I
vibe does Sailor Jupiter put out? If you think that you put out the vibe of you watch a lot of anime, do you think Sailor Jupiter watched a lot of anime?
I actually don't think so. I believe her like character biography says that she's like really into baking, but she's also like. She's, like, really tall. Like, she's the tallest and, like, biggest out of, like, all of the Sailor Scouts.
What color
And
is she?
she's the green one.
Okay, on it.
Yeah,
So
like
she's-
Jupiter.
Yeah, you know how Jupiter's green. She,
Oh, I just learned something. Oh, fuck.
I always think of
Oh,
Jupiter
God.
as blue. Like, maybe it's just because Jupiter and blue Peter rhyme.
Jupiter. But I mean, like, if you look at pictures, Jupiter's kind of like orange.
Oh, really?
It's like orange and tan. What do you mean? Oh, really? Have you not looked at a textbook?
I mean, not today.
Okay,
I'm
fair
I'm
enough.
colorblind. I don't see color.
Don't throw that out there.
I have to
don't
leave.
know,
I have to
you know,
leave. I can't.
I'm not going to judge the planets based on their colors.
I base my judgment solely on their moral integrity.
I just
and
base it on
also-
how rich they are, i.e., how many rings they got. Ching ching, a
Hey.
ring a ding, a ring a ding a ding. This has much different energy than a regular podcast.
Because it's nighttime.
Nighttime.
Ooh.
It's the
The funny
nighttime
thing
record.
is this is the second time we are doing this podcast. Not today.
Take two.
We,
Take
we
two.
So-
originally
oh, God.
recorded with Adrianna a couple weeks ago. We did a podcast
Yeah.
that was lost to
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, you have your first lost episode. That's so exciting,
Nope.
huh?
Yeah, it's so great. Yeah, the
No,
gremlins
we do
came
not.
and they chopped it up into little pieces and they took it to their gremlin home and they ate it. So we don't have that episode anymore. But we decided that Adriana was such a great guest that we needed to have her back on.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
we were gonna have her back on regardless. That's what we ended on the last time, was we were gonna have a round 2. We just didn't think that round 2 was gonna be actually round 1.2,
Yeah.
but it's
Round
good.
one
It's fine.
redux. It's
It's
fine.
great.
Yeah, it's. Listen, technology is not perfect.
No.
And
Mm-mm.
thus we should not trust Elon Musk with anything. But
This is what we
Yeah,
get for
it's-
trusting robots to accomplish all of our tasks.
that's true. We did not hand record. And that's on us.
We should have
did
used
not-
abacuses and papyrus to record this podcast.
Yeah. Definite fuck up on we did not go analog hard enough. And that's on us.
Yeah,
But I'm-
from now on, this podcast is straight to vinyl.
Yeah, thank God.
Oh,
But
don't
no,
get my hopes up.
You do have a very you definitely have a vibe, Nick, because you and I don't know each other all that well.
No.
But you very much have the vibe of somebody that's like way too into vinyl.
Oh,
This is
100%.
true.
If you can't see behind me,
Yeah.
If I can see-
the collection.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh yeah, I am the person who, like, I have extra money at the end of the month or anything. It's straight to the record shop and like grabbing everything. I'm the easiest gift. Like get me a gift, because it's like, just get him, a record and like he's good to go. So I
Any
am
record.
And then that's
any record. Really, like any. Yeah, there's a time and a place for everything.
Right. My
For
friend, my friend Max, has a record that is Jeff Bridges doing, skits or songs or like bedtime story kind of things, and it is the most horrifying thing in the world.
how that sounds awesome.
It's
Is
so
it just him like
creepy.
talking?
Yeah, and like wind blowing, and like maybe like a sad guitar kind of a little bit, and he's just telling a story about something or telling about a ghost, and you're just like,
I hope that it's just like the night before Christmas on both sides. Like that's what I would love.
it's the night before Christmas on one side, and then he reads the script for the Nightmare Before Christmas on the other side.
I would buy that. That's pretty great. No, I completely hear you though, Nick. Like this is, I think, the first Christmas where I just recently started getting into vinyl, and I very much enjoy vinyl. I think I said this. See, this is the fun thing about re-recording when your first episode never gets released. It's like, did I tell this story last time?
Right.
But no, my mom got me for Christmas Elvis Costello's "My Aim Is True" on vinyl,
Oh wow.
and it is I listened to it. I got stoned on Christmas before I just started to make dinner.
You just smoked a lot of Christmas.
I smoked so much Christmas tree and put it on, and I just was like laying on my bed, like on top of my laundry, because I'm nasty. I'm a messy girl. But I'm like laying on top of my laundry and like listening to it. And like, that was the moment where like my third eye opened.
Yes.
And I was like, I get it.
Yes.
Like it does. This is the way it was meant to be listened to. And like, usually I will say that, but it's often accompanied with like a very like hard jerk off motion kind of thing. Cause that's such a
hard jerk off thing to say.
It's such a freshman in college,
Yeah.
like philosophy 101. Like, I'm allowed to smoke weed now that I'm not living at my parents' house kind of like thing to say. But it's so true. It was so true. I'm like, oh God, this is so good. But yeah, I mean, like, now it's so easy. Like, to get me a present, I'm just like, fuck it. Get me something you think I'll like. Like, I'll show you what I already have. I have except for like a couple things, like maybe 2 records, I've got like most of Carly Rae Jepsen's discography on vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa, that was not where I thought we were going to go. That's awesome.
And all like the 3 of the vinyls that I have are different colors.
Hell
Like
yeah.
one's pink, one's purple, one's blue. I'm really into colored vinyl,
Nice.
even though I know it's like, oh well, the sound fidelity is not going to be the same. Okay, whatever. But
Yeah.
it's such a cool thing to own. Like, I'm
Oh,
like,
100%. I agree with you. There's a purist part of me every now and then, but like colored vinyl, I'm a sucker for. I don't care. You know, if it looks cool. I can't remember the artist right now, but like she did a special edition vinyl where she had a vial of her blood and she put a little bit in each vinyl as it was getting made. So like you got like this clear vinyl with like red in it. And it's like spin my blood. I can't remember
That's
who it was.
such a pre-pandemic thing to happen.
Yeah.
Like, that would
Was it
never
Grimes?
happen these days. Like, pouring
Was it
blood into a
Oh
record.
God, was it
No.
Grimes? Because
It sounds like a
something
Grimes
would do.
thing.
So you guys are both a pretty easy gift recipient. Like, any record you get, you're just gonna be pretty happy about it. And
I
you'll just
wouldn't
like
say-
get stoned on your bed and listen to it.
You have to also be lying on top of laundry.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
I mean, they
say
say weed
any
is not
record.
a performance-enhancing drug, but I think it enhances other people's performance when you're on it.
100%. 100%. So the first time that I ever got high, I was a senior in high school because I was a good kid. I waited till I was 18. Just like having sex. I waited till I was technically a grown-up, and then I did it. Which actually,
We obey
now
the
thinking
law
about
on
it,
this program.
we obey the law here, even though it was definitely more illegal for me to do it when I was 18. Because I would have gotten in actual trouble. But no, I was at my friend's house, and she put on Saturday Night Live. First off, the first time I smoked weed, I was like, oh my God, it's been 4 hours since I first got high. Wow. And then my friend's like,
yeah.
it's been 12 minutes. And I'm like, what?
Marijuana is a time machine.
Oh my God. Everything's so slow. But like when I was younger, I was a bit of a a Philistine, I think is the best way to put it. And I did not appreciate Kendrick Lamar the way that I do now. Because when the first song that he had that like really was in, I think, the public conscience, or at least in mine, which is the public conscience as far as I'm concerned, was, I think it's called Swimming Pools. It's
Yeah.
the one that's
So
like
that
pass
drink.
out, drank,
Yeah.
faded, drank.
Pour up.
Yeah,
drink.
drank. Yeah, wake up, drank.
Go to
And
church.
so I was-
drink.
Drank.
Walk your dog. Drink.
Drank.
Take a shit. Drink.
Drank. Take a piss, drank. Drink a piss, drank.
Literally, yeah.
have a piss drink. No. So I that was the first song that I really heard by him, and I was like, I don't like this.
I agree.
And then when
I'm the same way
was-
on that one.
Yeah, but when I like got stoned at my friend's house, and she put on Saturday Night Live, and it was the episode where he was on it, and like I'm like high and listening to it, I'm like, oh my God, like this is great.
Yes.
So
Yes.
good. Like, it changed my mind on Kendrick Lamar. So, weed's actually really good for you. It's awful in so many other ways for me. Like, I'm currently taking a break because I have a tendency to smoke pot too much because I like it too much.
I wouldn't know what that's like.
I know, but as Nick's taking a quick huff,
That's me.
yay! But no, the big problem is not only do I like do it too often, but I will also get too high constantly because I like to. As my friend Maddie's similar, that like she said, like we like to take little sips, like I want more, because I love the ritual of it. I really like the fixation. I enjoy the act of smoking. The problem is, though, dear reader, that if you smoke too much, you begin to think that you are in the process of dying. And that happens all the time. So I have to take a break.
You start being very conscious of your heartbeat and the rhythm that it is. And you're just like, shit.
Yes! Yes, exactly.
Is it usually this difficult to breathe? Or, like, is it more difficult to breathe than normal? Or
like, I feel like I can't smell because I have COVID, so I'm in the process of dying. Like, my arm hurts, so that means I'm in the middle of having a heart attack.
Right,
or, like, I'm having, like, I had a weird headache for, like, half a second, and now I'm having a stroke. Like, it's awful, and I like will overthink things, and I just get too anxious, and it's like maybe this isn't the thing for me.
But it makes Elvis Costello sound so good,
bro. Well, that's not true because Elvis Costello sounds great anytime you listen to him. I really want to get. Let's see. I think he's got like a shit ton of albums. I don't know why I'm like, well, let me see.
I was gonna say, like,
Discog looking like.
Are we about to go through one by one because we're gonna be here for a minute?
He's been prolific. That cannot be understated. No, but I think the next one that I really want to get from him particularly is This Year's Model.
Yes,
which is I think the follow-up album that he did, or it's I think.
Like
this one I think is just by Elvis Costello.
Which one of them has Hound Dog on it?
Fuck off.
Fuck you. That's what you get for the first time.
What if Elvis Costello was just like an indie Elvis cover artist? Like he just
my god, that would be incredible.
Elvis songs
actually
with acoustic guitar.
But no, I think it's so dumb. I think Radio's on This Year's Model.
Yes.
Along with like a ton of other great songs, like Pump It Up. Oh my god. Banger. That song on vinyl probably would like, oh my god, just absolutely rock my shit till I pass out. But
that would totally just absolutely rock your shit.
Completely.
Your shit would be so rocked. You'd pass out, your shit would be so rocked. It'd be so freaking rocked.
It'd be rocked like the motherfucking Casbah. Like, it'd just be insane.
You know, sure you don't like it.
Yeah. I don't have a follow-up to that because it's just rock the Casbah, rock the Casbah. No, but I think that album may have been the first one that he did with the Attractions.
Yes.
Maybe?
I think so.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, but he got banned from Saturday Night Live from playing Radio very famously so. I think maybe not a lot of people
because he ripped up a picture of the Pope on stage. I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. And then Sinead O'Connor did the same thing, and they were like, actually, you know, like, we're banning you not because of this, like, political statement, but you did bite off of Elvis's thing.
It was unoriginal. It's the same reason that Ashley Simpson got banned for you know, lip syncing.
Ripping up a picture of the Pope.
Yeah, and also ripping up a picture of
the Pope.
I don't know why people are like, this is the platform to do that on, and like repeat that gesture. Maybe they're just like, fuck you, Lorne, and just like, you know, hated the weak and just go rip.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. But no, he was supposed to play I think it was Less Than Zero. And then I watched like a clip of it recently, and he's like, no, stop it. We're not going to play this. Like, he literally goes like, stop.
Yeah, they start the song.
Yeah, they start it and they go for like maybe like a verse. And then he's like, no, no, no. And then he turns to his drummer and like his backup, band. They're like, he's like, radio, radio. And then they fucking go into it. And it just absolutely rocks. Because Lorne wasn't into it because it's a song against censorship.
Mm-hmm.
And
the label as well. Didn't want him to play that either.
Yeah. And he, in just the absolute punk rock move, is like, fuck you. Fuck it, we're doing it live. And it's so cool.
Elvis Costello,
it's so awesome.
Historically the musical Bill O'Reilly.
That's so great. I like that.
I don't, because Bill O'Reilly sucks, but did you know that Bill O'Reilly has a corgi?
Oh,
doesn't that suck?
It makes him more of a monster.
Sucks for the dog. Sucks for the dog.
It sucks for the dog, but it also sucks because it humanizes him.
It does. But you know who else has a corgi? Stephen King. And that's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
Okay.
That also, it checks out.
Stephen King does seem like he'd own a corgi. Like, if he's gonna own a dog, he's not gonna own a big one like Cujo, and he's not gonna own a little one that from Pet Sematary. Like, he's gonna own a medium-sized, non-scary
Firmly
dog.
in the middle. Firmly in the middle.
Yeah, with short little legs too, so that it can't chase him very far.
Yeah,
that's a perfect. You cannot. If a corgi was zombified, that would be the least scary dog to have chasing you. You just go up some stairs and then it's done. Like, all right, come and get me, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, you put your knee up and you're like, no, and then it's like, okay.
Stand on a chair.
Yeah, basically. My family had a corgi. She unfortunately passed on to the next realm last year.
She crossed the rainbow bridge, as they say.
Which is both the corniest thing, and it makes me so fucking sad.
Wait,
also.
is that really a thing? I've never heard that.
Yes.
What?
That is the term. That is the term specifically for your dog dying.
What happened to we took it to a farm somewhere? What happened to that?
That got too we didn't like lying to children that much.
Yeah.
So you made up a rainbow bridge to heaven.
Well, because you can describe a rainbow. If they ask you about the farm, you have to ask where the farm is, and you got to answer what else is on the farm and what that dog is eating on the farm. But if he's crossing a rainbow bridge into the great beyond, you can't ask questions about that.
That's true. You're not going to get a good answer, that's for sure.
That's all parenting is trying to prevent your children from asking you questions.
Just
heading them off at the pass.
It's questions that you have to answer, but you don't want to that day.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're like, the world is an awful, awful place, and I'm not ready for you to know that yet.
Yep.
I'm not prepared to make that call.
Listen to this Elvis Costello album.
Listen to it instead.
I was just going to say, before we leave Elvis Costello, one, the two albums you named, the only two albums I have on vinyl. Love it. Great. Amazing. Two, on this note of his Saturday Night Live thing, I stumbled upon a YouTube thing where the Beastie Boys, it might have been for an anniversary for SNL, maybe not, I'm not sure, but Beastie Boys were playing a concert or a show with a song or something, and
they're playing a concert or a show or a song or chess or something.
or something. Queen's Gambit. And they're playing Sabotage, and then Costello comes out on stage, and he does the SNL thing. He goes, stop it, we can't do this. And then they go into Radio. It is amazing. You need to find this clip online.
The Beastie Boys joined it for Radio. Jesus,
I think Mike
Christ.
D was on keys. Someone is on keys doing the do, and it's beautiful. That's all I have on Costello.
Shit, oh my god, that is important to note. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I think it's something that I did know, but you know how you know that you know something, but it is in a different wing of the mind palace that you don't frequent.
Yeah, the one that's all dusty with cobwebs.
Yeah, you're
same place you keep the quadratic formula.
Yeah, it's I have to KonMari too much shit over there. It's a lot more stressful if I hang out in I don't know, Cat Facts. I'm just gonna stay over there in Cat Facts.
This other stuff doesn't spark joy.
Yeah. Oh man, this all of this information about the Great Gatsby, certainly that could go.
And on that note, let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we will talk about the album that we're going to get started on, and we'll have more with Adrianna McCain. Looking for unique gemstone and crystal jewelry? Who among us isn't? It was just Valentine's Day, and maybe you forgot to get your honey a little treat, huh? Maybe you didn't get a little something for your honey? Well, with Bells On by Amanda has you covered. Artist and owner Amanda Bell creates a variety of handmade jewelry and art pieces that are perfect for gifting, or if you're looking to treat yourself. Maybe you don't have a honey for Valentine's Day. Maybe you need a little treaty for yourself, sweetie. Well, I like the Swiss cheese plant earrings. I had never heard of a Swiss cheese plant before, but it sounded pretty tasty. Maybe not as good as a cheddar cheese plant, but you take what you can get in the world of cheese plants. But they're beautiful. They're gold. They're intricate. They're perfect for any occasion. Her online boutique is through Etsy, so go to etsy.com/shop/with-bells-on-by-Amanda and check it out. Also, listeners of this podcast can get 30% off their order with coupon code SPINDOC. Again, that's etsy.com/shop/with-bells-on-by-Amanda and coupon code SPINDOC for 30% off. And we're back. It's the Spin Doctors with Adrianna McCain. We're here. We, again, get used to it. I think that's how that goes. And as always, this is the show about music. But you know what? Before we get into that, I wanted to say something. I was, during our break, I was on Twitter, and I saw a memo. So the memo was about election security, about how, like, we have to trust in the American process, and, like, how the election is secure, and how all these, the aspersions that they're casting of voter fraud and all this stuff is just absolutely crazy. And how the entity that published the memo was standing with, the Biden administration and against these accusations of election fraud, and against people saying that the American democracy is, the voting is failing. This memo was published by none other than, of course, the forefront of the political brigade, Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah!
Chuck E. Cheese published a memo about election security.
Oh my god.
Yes! Charles Entertainment Cheese.
Is that what the E stands for?
What?
Did you not know that?
No.
What do you mean, did I know? That's common knowledge?
Yes.
For a long time, I didn't even know it was an E. I thought it was Chucky Cheese.
Yeah, Chucky Cheese.
Like the child from Rugrats.
Yeah, or the killer
job.
doll.
Yeah.
Sure.
Why do all Chuckies have red hair?
I think that's like a legal contract drawn up by God.
Yes.
You are
the
either a
11th commandment.
I mean, think of Chuck Norris.
Red.
Red.
I bet he was Chucky when he was a kid.
Yeah,
Not for
Chucky Norris.
Yeah, you don't go
Chucky
from
Norris.
Charlie to Chuck. You go
No.
from Chucky to Chuck.
Probably.
I have to see the kid. I have to see the man.
That's fair.
You know what I'm
Take it on a
saying?
kid-by-kid basis.
You gotta see the kid, and you gotta see the process into becoming a man, and then you determine from there.
Yeah, because it could be a Charlie. There's a lot of Charlies.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can, if you start out as a kid, most of us start out as kids. But if you do,
unless you're Benjamin Button.
and you have a name like Charlie or Charles, I feel like it takes an awful lot to, at some point in your life, go, no, I'm switching from Charlie to Chuck. That is
Something
such
happened.
like a drastic change, as opposed to like being a child and being named Chucky and like, oh, this is my kid Chucky. We call him Chucky. And then
I would
getting
argue
18 and dropping the Y.
Right. I would argue that you legally have to drop the Y once you become an adult.
Yeah. You go and you sign up for the draft and drop your Y.
Yeah, that's what they call it. They're like, hey, you're here to drop your Y? All right.
Once
And
you're
now
old
you
enough
gotta-
to drop loads, you gotta drop your Ys.
Correct. No, I was going to argue that other people typically are the ones to assign nicknames. You don't typically assign a nickname to yourself. So somebody in that person's life may look at them and be like, "No, you're a Chuck now. You've been a Charlie, but now you're a Chuck." Like how Charlie Brown, Peppermint Patty calls him Chuck all the time.
It's always just one person that does that, though. Like, there's always that one person in your life who calls you the other thing. Like, everybody calls you something except for that one person, the Peppermint Patty in your life, that calls you the other thing. Like, in my life,
fair.
everybody calls me Rick, except for, like, my family. my mom or whatever calls me Ricky because it did when I was a kid.
Oh,
Mhm.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
it's so
That's
cute.
so
I know. I'm
sweet.
little Ricky.
Ricky
Like that.
Store.
But I'm Rick to most
I didn't
people,
like that.
except
Yeah.
for my friend
know.
Michael Zalewski,
Yes,
who
yeah.
calls me Richard, and he's the only one.
He's the only. Well, see, I love calling people by like their full, especially if they go by like a Nick. Like, I'm happy to call you a Nicholas. I
Mhm.
love extending people's names.
Mhm.
Just
But
because
his
it's really
name
funny.
isn't short for Nicholas. It's
He's
short.
a Nicholas
it's-
now.
No, it's Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon. Okay.
Yeah, his name
I
is
can give you your
Nickelodeon
full
Malizia.
I'll give him his full Christian name. I don't care, but I.
I was baptized in slime.
It's so funny.
I wish we named this show after things that we said
know,
on it, because
right?
that would be the name of this episode, man.
I was baptized.
Baptized in slime.
The Father, the Son,
Oh my
and Rugrats.
God.
I dubbed the Nickelodeon Militia.
Well, it's not getting any better than that. I'll tell you that right now. We got to
Oh,
get to
yeah,
this
we've peaked.
this album.
Yeah,
Please.
about the album.
Yes.
About the
excited.
album.
About the album.
You have brought us an album. So, I don't know if we should say this. Should we say the last album that you brought on?
I think we should. Okay,
Okay.
so the out for the Lost episode,
Hmm.
and I think it popped off because the album that I brought was Help by the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
Which I explained was very formative to me as a youth, and we went through it and we listened and we laughed and we loved.
We did a little crying too.
We did a little bit of crying.
Yes.
Because we listened to Yesterday and we were like, oh, the strings. Ah,
The strings, my
Don't get me
heartstrings.
started again.
my heartstrings. Yeah, Nickelodeon's on the other end being like,
I like Nickelodeon now. God damn it.
yeah, sorry, dude. This week, I did not bring you a Beatles album.
Okay, that's fine.
You did not.
And I apologize, but I will say that it's by another English artist.
It would have been funny if you had brought a different Beatles album. I think that would have been the least expected thing you could have brought.
I honestly was thinking about it. I was like, should I just say fuck it and do Abbey Road? Like, maybe I should just say fuck it and do Abbey Road. I can
We
do
tell
that
all the
if
same
you guys...
stories.
Right?
Yeah, like, oh man. But no. This week, can I say what it is? Or
You know
is
what?
that
Yeah, go
typically-
ahead and unveil it.
Okay, all right. This week, I have brought to you British singer-songwriter Adele's debut album, 19.
Ooh.
19.
Nice.
No, 19.
The average
Hey,
age
19.
of a soldier entering Vietnam was 19.
Oh no. That's going to cast a dour onto this episode, unfortunately.
It's a song by Paul Hardcastle called 19.
Yes, so 19 by Adele is what I have selected for you
Now,
fellas
this is
to talk about.
is this
with me.
Adele Dazeem from Frozen?
No, unfortunately. And that's really upsetting because it would be pretty cool to be hanging out with John Travolta right now.
Oh
That's
my
not true.
God.
That's not true. But no,
People call Rick
it's-
John Travolta podcast.
They do. Because I won't admit that I'm gay, and I'm an absolute diva to work with.
Yes.
And I was
I'm
in
also
Wild
so much-
Hogs.
I was gonna say that you're so much of a Scientologist that you don't want to get a blood transfusion for your dying son.
That too.
Oh, that was so
With the Wild
dark.
Hogs thing too.
I love it. I was gonna go down a wife path, and that wasn't okay. But I like that you said the son thing, so it makes me feel better of just thinking it.
What prompted you to bring this album?
So when we were talking about Help last time, again on the Lost episode that unfortunately nobody's going to be able to hear, which it's such a tease to like talk about it because it's like I'm not withholding anything. It was literally
Right.
like tech, like there are parts of it that just fucking didn't record. Like
Yeah.
it's unusable on my end, unfortunately. But we were talking on on that episode about like, you know, as a kid, as a young person listening to something that is like really influential. And I talked about it as a teenager, being a teenage girl. I decided to throw it a little bit further back, and this was something that I listened to a lot in middle school.
Okay.
Which is even worse than being a teenage girl, is being a pre-teenage girl.
You're just hearing all the things that are going to disappoint you in life listening to this album, I feel, as a middle schooler.
But on the other hand, this album also fucking rules. Like,
yes.
Everybody, it's one of those things that, like, Adele is one of those artists that I think a lot of people like to shit on because she is popular. But she's popular for a reason, which is that she's a fantastic writer and she's a phenomenal singer.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, she is one of those...
Regardless of whether you are, like, a pop music person or not, you have to admit that Adele can sing. Like,
Respect.
She's incredible. She's, like... She's almost untouchable. And what she has also done for, like, outside communities as well is, like, really great. Like, when she won Album of the Year for, I think it was for 25, her third album, she was like, why did I win this? I was up against Beyonce's Lemonade. Like, what did you do? She was very much like, Beyonce deserved this. Like, thanks, but, like...
Self-aware is always awesome.
Which is absolutely true. Like, I could talk, like, for such a long time about how the Grammys are so fucked up and they, like, barely count as, like, major awards, honestly.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, like, as somebody who's such a big Adele head, I completely agree with her. Like, Beyonce should have won that year, but the Grammys are racist. But I digress.
Yeah. And then Adele lost all that weight and got hot? Hell yeah, dude.
She was hot. She's been hot this entire time.
She has been hot the
but
whole
come
time.
on,
She's been hot
man.
this entire time.
Come
and
on.
it really no. But that's also the other thing too, is that when I was a kid, so the listener might not know this unless they've got supersonic hearing or something. But I myself am a fat lady, which is very upsetting for a lot of people to hear. A girl saying the word fat in referring to herself as fat and not like saying it in like a negative tone, like, oh my god, I am brave, thank you. But like I'm a person that's been like kind of chunky for like most of my life.
I have great courage and a slow metabolism.
Correct. Probably a thyroid issue if we're being honest. But and also I hate running. That like I saw this person when I was a kid. I saw this woman who was, you know, like larger than all of the other like singers out there, who was just like so beautiful, like outside and in her writing and her singing, and it was just something that it's like, okay, like I felt very seen by Adele.
Right.
And so like for her to lose weight is like, first off, not my business. Like everybody else, like not to be like too much of a buzzkill or preachy or whatever, but it's like I have no say in this other person's body. If that's what she wants to do, that's great. But it like, that said, there was like a little bit of a disappointment when like it was like, oh, Adele's skinny now, that I was like, oh man, like damn it. I mean, there's so many other like really great body positive like people out there, like Lizzo, for example.
Yeah,
like,
I think Lizzo gave Adele permission to get skinny. She's like, all right, I can pass the torch on to you.
She's like, I got this, girl. But it just was like this first person who looked like, now like looking back, I'm like, okay, like we kind of look the same now. They just have this person kind of like change their body. It's like a little bit of a disappointment, but then I have to remind myself, like, we're all on different paths. Like, this is what she wants to do. That's great.
Yeah, but I think she did it to fuck with you, if I'm being honest. Like, I think...
to me specifically? Yes, absolutely. She'd be like, you're looking a little too cheerful over there, Adrianna. I think it's time for you to get a little more disappointed, innit?
It's like she's in the room. Is that Adele? Is she here?
Oh my god, Rick Storer. It's so nice to see you, Rick Storer.
Adele, I'm a huge fan.
Well, that's very nice of you to say. I'm a huge fan
like
of
you
yours.
used to be.
Oh, well, thank you. You're... That's so great. You yourself are very much a huge fan as well.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I know. It's that's why I'm allowed to say this.
Yeah. Well, great for you. You're doing your own thing. I think that's great. Not all of us can get our shit together, but you still got time. You still got this.
My time. I do have time.
I'm so sorry for
less and less these days.
Less and less. I feel bad for fat shaming Rick on the podcast. I'm so sorry.
Amazing, because
Even
that's
though
what
I was
Adele
just
would have
fat shaming
said.
Adele. I feel like I deserved
You're
it.
just fat. Yeah, it's like, hey,
She's
bud.
not here to defend herself.
That's true. That's why I have to do it for her.
She listens to this. She is going to listen. We give a big Adele vibe. She's going to see. She'll spin doctors. I think so.
I think this is the podcast for me.
She's got a Google alert for her name set up, so anything that pops up, she's like, me?
Spin doctors? What's all this then?
Oh.
A bloody podcast.
A bloody podcast.
Pip, pip.
So this is total digression, but I met my friend's girlfriend recently, who is British. Like she lives in London, and we did a Zoom thing for the first time, which was really cool because I'd heard a lot about her. I was like really excited, and my friend, of course, was like, "Don't do an accent," and so naturally I did bring it up. I brought the fact up that he like warned me not to do it because we're vibing, we're chatting, we're having a good time, and I attempted to do a British accent for her, and it immediately turned into New Zealand, and it was really funny.
Well, the two are so close, honestly. I mean, countries, they're right next to each other.
Yeah, famously so. But she did compliment me on my New Zealand accent, so that was really fun.
My sister's husband is British, and he's and she just speaks with a British accent around him all the time, just makes fun of him all the time. It's wonderful to watch. It really
great.
brings me back to like the colonist days, like just sticking it to the redcoats.
Yeah. You're like, take that, King George, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I know him from Hamilton. He's my favorite parrot.
Goodness. All right. He's my favorite Beatle.
Yeah, Alexander Hamilton's the best Beatle.
They say he's the sixth Beatle.
After George Martin.
Mm-hmm. They just keep adding them. And then the seventh Beatle is David Bowie. The eighth Beatle is Homer Simpson. And Beatle number 9 is Lou Bega. Very
nice. I was going to say number 10, Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks. Yeah, she won that in an election. It was a landslide victory.
Boom.
Yeah, just fucking ran away with it.
Don't stop now.
Shall we go for it?
Let's go for it. Before we get started with the album, when is the first time you heard this album?
I was in 8th grade.
8th grade.
I was in 8th grade. My best friend, Sienna, who's still my best friend now, like 12 years later.
Wow.
We have been tight for a really long time, and a lot of it had to do, I think, with this album, that she was like, oh, you should listen to this. And she, this was in the days where like we had an iPod, like a big old clunky thing that you're just like here, and you listen to, like, we'd sit on the bus, like she'd have one headphone in and we'd have the other, and I was like, oh my god, this is great, like I love it, oh my god. And so I think eventually she like burned me a CD, because that's what we did a lot. We would make each other we would make each other CDs, and it's like she's really the only person that, like, I think I did that with like a couple other people, but really like she was my go-to for like a mixed CD. I was like, okay, these are all the songs that I think you'll like.
And you were constantly introducing each other to new music?
Kind of, except like both of our musical tastes were pretty bad. Like at the time. Her musical taste, I will say, was much better than mine as a child.
Okay.
She introduced me to like John Legend and like Jasmine Sullivan and like all of these really great artists, and I was like, this is what my dad listens to. Here you go.
The Eagles.
It's the Eagles. Here, listen to this. Here's a song by the Rolling Stones. I think I probably gave her like the Wallflowers, like the 2 songs that they have,
Right.
and that was
One
pretty
headlight
much, like,
and
my
0 headlights.
Yes. Yeah, correct. And I think that's the that's what I was giving her. But she introduced me to Adele, which is great. The part that wasn't great was that she and I eventually, when we were in 8th grade, got in a pretty big fight over a boy, which is, when you're that old, is the biggest deal in the world.
Yeah.
Like, she found out that I had a crush on him, and he was like the first boy. Yes, completely. It was just this absolute huge thing.
You Adele'd her. You that was your losing a bunch of weight, was liking this boy.
But no, keep in mind, no, she's the Adele in this situation because, well, I mean, I don't think either of us are necessarily the Beyonce, but she's the one that like ended up like dating him for like
Story of my life,
2
girl. Always the
weeks.
Adele, never the Beyonce.
Never the Beyonce.
Always a Kelly Rowland.
But yeah, no, we we got in like a big old stank about it, and then I honestly don't know how it got resolved. Like, I just was persistent. I was like, no, we are still friends, and eventually she was like, okay, fine, and we've been best friends ever since.
Right.
Like, it ended up being fine, but every time I like listen to this album, I think about not necessarily us in a fight, but like us sitting there listening to it like next to each other, being like, "Oh, this is so good. This is so good."
It's beautiful.
Because it's so good.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I have so much to say about all of this, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Okay. And have you ever seen Adele live?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
It's
has, my goodness.
the most oh my god, it's the most significant bummer. Like, I've had opportunities where I've been like, Mom, can we go? Like, it was always when I was like too young to buy like a concert ticket on my own. And I mean, like, I think pretty much like every single time it just got sold out so fast.
Oh yeah.
Because other people are like, you know, like, oh, Adele's coming to the SAP Center. Mom, can we go? Next thing you know, like, no, we can't.
Yeah.
And then she got vocal nodules or something like vocal cord nodules, and she had to have surgery, and she had to cancel. Like, she ended up having to cancel her tour, and then, you know, she took so much time off to have like a kid, and I mean, now concerts are illegal, and so
punishable by death.
Yes,
correct.
Fact.
Eventually.
Eventual death or killing somebody you love.
Yeah.
But I very much, if I have the opportunity to see Adele, I will fucking stake out on Ticketmaster. Like, I will go see Adele like the next time I can.
You're gonna
like,
make
for
it
sure.
happen.
What's the maximum you will pay for a ticket?
Oh man.
Is there a number?
Because that's the question with Adele. Because I was dating a girl who, like, during her last album when she was touring, she's like, please, like, you know, this could be like the birthday, Christmas, anniversary gift. Get us tickets. And I was like, girl, like, even the nosebleeds are like, we need like 3 years of gift giving for these 2 horrible seats.
And God knows we're not going to be together that long, so.
Yeah, especially if you keep asking me for this. I'm
not going to waste future girlfriend's present money on you.
It's either marriage or Adele tickets. Choose one, girl.
Why didn't you get me anything? Oh, well, okay, so it was 2017, 2016, 2017.
So long ago.
Bitch I've never met. Yeah. It's been a minute since she's put something out, and it makes me so upset. She's got, you know, she's going through it.
She's divorced now. She's getting ready.
She's worth the wait.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting ready. I think there's a rumor she's going to put something out this year. I'm fucking fingers crossed. The most I think I would spend at this juncture in time, I think the most I would spend would be $200.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
a good amount. Yeah.
That's I've spent that
like,
much on tickets.
I think it would have to be something that like I'm pretty fucking determined to go.
Yeah.
Like I would spend less. I would spend less if
I
I
would
could.
spend less.
I would like to spend less if I could.
Is
buying
there
the
a
ticket.
minimum amount of money you would pay to go see Adele?
Ooh, that's great. I would actually love to be paid to go to a concert.
Okay, so
Ooh.
negative
That would be
dollars.
so cool. $. The problem is that I know I am not hot enough to get that. Like, nobody would pay me to go to a concert.
You don't have to be
which
hot
really
to like
sucks.
work backstage.
You can be a janitor.
That's true. That's fine.
I mean, that's why they
mean,
invented backstage jobs, is for us ugly people.
Mhm.
And I mean
They're
me,
like,
as
"You're-"
in us ugly people.
Meanwhile, Nick and I are like, I don't know what that's like.
I'm cute and I eat
We're just too
sandwiches for free.
beautiful.
That's why I do so well in a podcast format that's all audio, is because I can cover for the travesty that is the visual aspect of my
Stop
existence.
it.
with-
Stop it, Rickolas.
Oh, this
Don't
is,
be.
yes, I wasn't
don't be
fishing, but
cruel.
I love what I caught.
I mean, you sound like Brad Pitt, but you look like his horrible relationships. If that
Sound
makes
like
sense.
Brad Pitt, look like Brad shit. Let's take one more break, and then when we come back, we will get right into the first song off the album. We'll be right back with Spin Doctors.
Fuck yeah.
And we're back. We are back. It is time, at long last, to get into the album. It is Nana 19 by Adele. Our good friend Adrianna McCain has brought us. And the first song on the album, do you have any special things to say about this song?
Yes, I think this was a song that I tried to learn on guitar when I was like 16.
Oh, I love it.
I don't think I have. I did not successfully do it, but it's not a particularly difficult song to play on a guitar. But it is such a. It is like stepping into a pool that is warm. It's a great way to introduce the album. It's just like,
Yes.
okay, and here we go.
All right. Well, this is track number 1 off of 19. This is Daydreamer. Oh yeah, this seems exactly like something that I would try to learn on a guitar at
Yeah.
16, like because it doesn't seem overly complicated, but it seems, oh, this would sound pretty. I could impress people at a party with this.
Oh, it's very much this is something I would upload to YouTube. and-
Yeah.
Yes.
If I were that kind of person.
Right.
Right.
Get a ukulele and a very breathy voice.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking
I
about.
feel like I've done like mixed mic shows where like the performer before me has done a cover of this. It's like, all right, on that summer note, our next comedian.
Exactly. Love following it.
This almost
Yeah,
doesn't
see,
sound like her.
She's just
Like
so gorgeous. Such a
Yeah.
gorgeous voice.
She still sounds young though. I mean, compared to like current songs,
She's
I
very-
feel like this. I mean,
Yeah, she's 19.
She's 19.
Obviously,
she
Rick,
is 19 when
goddammit.
she recorded this.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know that's what you were getting at.
Yeah, no, she definitely is so young when she put this out, and it's, I mean, like, old in terms of like a young artist, because there's so many you've got your Billies Eilish, you've got your Aaliyah's, that's a mononym.
Your
all
Swift's
these people
Taylor.
Your Swift's Taylor. They like put out music like so much younger, and so she's in that weird in between.
Mm-hmm.
Putting this out like still really young, but not like wunderkind kind of young, but it's so fucking beautiful.
Right, and it's also not so young that it's like a Miley Cyrus first album,
right,
Yeah.
right.
where like it's obviously like kids music,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and then as she
Yeah.
got older, it became more. And she's a fantastic singer, and I don't think she gets a lot of credit for being a good singer because of the early stuff where it was all more kid like, and then how she doesn't get
Yeah.
the credit for having matured.
Yeah,
that's not who
Miley
we're talking
Cyrus
about.
Miley Cyrus has had a bit of a rough go in the
Yeah.
public eye, but Adele on the other hand has just been just a darling from the jump. So this is something I don't necessarily broadcast, but I wouldn't call myself a singer, but I really enjoy singing. I did a lot of theater as a kid, and when I was in high school, like musical theater, and I really love music, and I would like to be able to play competently. And like I have this little secret fantasy that, like, I don't know, somebody would hear me during karaoke and be like, "You sound great, you should be in our band." And like, not like, you can't play any other instruments, that's fine, you can just sing. Like,
Gwen Stefani.
It's my you can be the Mick Jagger. It's my secret little dream. I guess not so much of a secret anymore, but
no, it's out there.
Adele, I know, it's
literally
out there.
ones of people are going to hear it.
I know.
And that one is Adele.
Yeah, thank God. Okay, listen, hear me now, Queen. It's very much she's such a huge influence to the way that I sing, and I think it has to do with me having listened to her so young. But she's got this like certain inflection that you will hear, especially in that song, where she goes very like, not quite like high, like whistle tone, but she'll definitely raise her voice and kind of like I really don't know how to describe it. A little falsetto-y, but she also has this really wonderful way of making her voice sound very like deep and warm, and I find that I have very much adopted that in my own singing style, and like it's for sure from listening to this on the bus when I was 13.
Yeah, you pick up what you hear. Well, maybe one of these episodes we'll be doing an Adrianna McCain album.
Ooh, I would love it. With Adele.
Be really
it's
cool.
what she chose as her album.
Featuring Adele. She doesn't even get top billing.
Oh, God. Fuck yeah, that would be so cool. Probably not going to happen, but that would be so neat.
Hey, never stop dreaming. Keep being a daydreamer.
Yes.
All right, this next song. Anything to say about this? I want to say one thing about this song. It is exactly 1 second shorter than would be a funny time. It's 4 minutes and 19 seconds.
Oh man, so, she could have left it recording one more second, and it would have been so cool.
That would be her sense of humor too.
Yeah,
that's
she's
so Adele.
She's a funny gal.
It's honestly very Adele.
It's so Adele. I just burped right there. I'm so sorry.
That's
very Adele. Very Adele. Oh, sorry,
Adele
fucking
energy.
burped.
Oh, sorry. I did a burp right there. This song is like, there are so many songs on this album. This is one of my absolute favorites.
All right.
Like, this is a great tune.
All right, this is Best for Last. I love a good bass chord. That's what those are.
Jazz, baby. It's just jazz.
It's just jazz. They say it's about the notes that you don't play, but those notes they are playing are pretty nice.
Dang. For what I've heard of Adele, this is a little bit out there for her, I feel.
You gotta wait for the chorus though.
Okay.
Because it hits real good.
This seems like an old-timey jazz singer, you know, like a songstress up on stage at a club.
Yes.
And that bass player's going off.
Johnny, get it in B minor and just give it to me on that slow vibe, please.
Exactly. Pulls a cigarette out of her mouth in one of those long golden holders.
Yes.
She's laying on the piano, singing.
For Lost.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, this is fantastic. This sounds like, on one episode we were talking about how good one artist would sound at an NPR Tiny Desk concert, and this sounds like it is an NPR Tiny Desk concert.
It's so good. It's so good. And like, really, like, all there is just the bass. And this is another song that I wanted to learn on guitar, and then I was very disappointed to find out that it is a bass. Because I was stupid as a child and didn't know the difference initially.
This guitar's really low. I don't know what to do.
I can't make mine do that. That's why isn't it doing that? I have a bass now though. I exclusively play stringed instruments, and I do it all very badly because I'm still learning. And yeah, this song is just like, it's just so good. Like the backing vocals and it's like picks up the pace and then it slows back down for the next verse, and it's just so fucking
Yeah,
good.
the verses are very chord heavy and very like she's carrying the melody in her voice, and then it gets into the chorus and it has that that arpeggiated chord is what it is, that boo doo 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 doo. That's like that's a major chord that they're arpeggiating, like hitting each note at a time. And it's great. It's good. This is great. Yeah, it's good. This next song is the only song that I recognized from this album when I first brought it up. It's the only one out of all of them that I like. You know, I read through them all and I didn't recognize a single one. I'm not a huge Adele fan by any. I mean, I'm a fan in that I appreciate.
This is okay. So this is a tune that I think I heard first on Saturday Night Live. So this is really cool because this is two very influential things for me that like merged all at once. So I mean, as you stated before, I do comedy. Saturday Night Live when I was a kid was like my biggest, like that was my biggest like influence for comedy when I was a kid, especially Weekend Update. God, I fucking loved Weekend Update.
Who was your Weekend Update people that you grew up with? Who was your duo?
Oh, Seth and Amy, baby.
Seth and Amy. Okay.
Seth and Amy.
It's quite clearly Norm Macdonald.
Is that yours?
Yeah, no,
That's my favorite. Yeah.
I'm not saying your favorite. Who did you grow up with?
Oh my God, that's a good question.
Mine was Jimmy and Tina.
Mine was right before. Who was before Jimmy and Tina?
Shit.
There was Colin Quinn. I remember Colin Quinn.
There's Colin Quinn. I think it was. I think that's the meat and sandwich. I think it went McDonald, Quinn, and then Jimmy and Tina. It was like a throwback thing of like, ooh, a guy and a girl again.
A guy and a girl, and then they did Tina and Amy, and that was good.
Great.
The duo that I grew up with though was Seth and Amy, and that also like specifically Saturday Night Live, Seth and Amy doing Weekend Update had such an influence on comedy for me because it's so deadpan. It was so topical. It was so like in tune, but it's the deadpan nature of it. And so for my show, I write a monologue that is very much influenced by Weekend Update. Because I go through like news headlines and do jokes, and whenever I write them, I'm like that's basically like the voice that's in my head is Seth Meyers and Amy Poehler. So when Adele was on Saturday Night Live, I think that might have been the first episode that I like watched of SNL.
Oh,
like
wow.
And so to have, you know, these two influential things kind of pop up at the same time, if it wasn't my like very first, it was definitely up there, because I remember just watching every fucking day, like as like every weekend, every Saturday, or like watching it the Sunday before because my parents wouldn't let me stay up that late, or the Sunday after I should say, watching during the 2008 election. And so I think she was on, God, I want to say that she was on like maybe in, yeah, like, oh man, it must have, maybe it was like 2007 or like early 2008. But she, yeah, she was on an episode and I watched, and this song in particular was the one of the songs that like made, like broke her into American culture, because she performed it on Saturday Night Live. That's what gave her big break. And like I still remember watching it and just being like in awe because it was so good. She's incredible live. Like,
yeah,
there's so many artists where you're like, oh, they're great. She's one who is like, when you hear her performing live, it is almost, it's better than her recorded. So yeah, that's what I have to say about this song.
All right.
Yes.
This is the second single off of the album. This is the, you know, what more do you have to say about it? It's Chasing Pavements.
Yeah, SNL is the way I discovered Adele as well, which is always very fun because I've discovered a lot of good bands, artists from SNL in the sense of like a name you've never heard of, and so like I always get stoked because like between like Adele and Arctic Monkeys, like I like grown like huge love for both, and you know SNL was the cherry breaker for those. So anytime I see a name I don't recognize on SNL, I'm like, ooh, there's potential here.
Yeah, there's a chance this is going to be really good.
Yeah, and it usually is because it's New York. They got their finger on the pulse of what we will love. Oh, there's that chorus. And we don't even know it yet.
This is now like an iconic chorus.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a lot of songs get released and they're singles and very popular or whatever, but this is one of those, this was made into memes, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is something that I forgot to mention about the song, which is that, so Sienna, my best friend of 12 years now, we would listen to this song and she was like, at first I thought the lyric was, should I just keep shaving cavemen?
Yeah.
And there was a guy that was on our bus.
Honestly, to be honest, that much more of a
it's
question that you need to ask. Like,
should I just keep shaving cavemen?
Yeah, should I keep doing this?
Should I keep shaving cavemen?
Can we film this music video like this?
Chasing pavement seems like something you should always do. That's not a question.
We're gonna Weird Al this baby.
Chasing those pavements and changing them.
Keep shaving the cavemen. So there was a kid on our bus that we would like when we would listen, we would like pretend to like we would just like listen to the chorus and just mouth shaving cavemen as we like pretended to hold a razor and like kind of from afar would like point it at him, be like, we're gonna, because he was fairly hirsute, and so we would just be like, okay, we're shaving him. And like now I look back on it, I'm like, were we bullying? We might have been bullying.
Yeah, and that man turned out to be the Geico caveman.
Correct. He's very successful now.
This next song is
what this caveman gave you guys.
Great tune. This is one that I listened to a lot when we were when Sienna and I were fighting, and like when I was in 8th grade, I very much hit like girl bullying that I like on the receiving end of it, because
I thought you meant that you were the bully.
No.
I just started hating people, and I just was mean to a lot of women.
Well, okay, so in this period of time, I was wearing glasses, I was very frizzy haired, I couldn't dress right, I like just so picked on by like other people, and I was very much the kid that would find out that everybody hung out without them because they would all talk about it in front of me, and I'd be like, okay, I was kind of like a little wiener when I was a kid, and like looking back, I really feel that I should have stuck up for myself more, but I was very much like, everybody has to like me or I'm going to die. Yeah. And I still feel that way now, which is why I do comedy.
Right.
But
yes.
But like because of that bullying, I like learned that like that's where I like kind of was like, okay, well, if I can't be the prettiest one, if I can't be the skinniest one, then I'm going to be the funny one. Yeah. And like listening to this song, just being like, okay, everybody hates me, I'm just gonna be really moody about it, was like, that was my little escape. Would just be like listening to that, just mad.
I love that feeling of having headphones on that are playing like angry music and that are just like influencing you so much. You're just sitting there and you're looking around. You're like, nobody knows how mad I am right now. Nobody knows how pissed off and like serious this is.
And no one's gonna know because you don't know how to express yourself properly because you're 13.
Right.
Just listen to this and you'll understand.
And everyone's just giving you the cold shoulder. Not a bad segue, if I do say so myself.
Not too bad.
This seems much more like what I expect from Adele. Like, everything has been very jazzy and very, like, instrumental. This is more, you know, it is instrumental, but it's a pop song.
I read a thing that once that,
so, like...
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's so good with the, like, the little... kind of the little chimes in the back accompanying the strings.
Yes.
Your turn. Talk.
We need more chimes. I read a thing once that Adele and Florence from Florence and the Machine went to school together, which has always been like my curious brain of like, what was it like if those two ran into each other in the hallway? It's like, what was going on? Like, it's beautiful. I want them to record a song together.
I would love if they collabed. I would pass away. It would be so good.
I would pass away. I would literally sink into the dirt and pass the hell away.
Correct. Great. So good. This is not one that I always think it was on her SNL performance. It was not.
Okay.
Oh, really?
No, that one is going to be track 8, so get ready, which is fantastic. That is a great song, but that one it's just so poppy. It's so fun. It's very much, you're absolutely right, Rick. It's one that sounds a lot more like something that she would do now, but oh god, it's so good. It's so good.
I like that this is like her origin is so, I mean, for lack of a better word, jazzy, you know, it's how it is so soul oriented and actually musical, as opposed to just being, you know, somebody who picked up a guitar one time and just was like, oh, I'm going to play a song, and, you know, and has not very complex arrangements. Whereas this is, you know, like a band.
I mean, I believe she does a lot of the composing of these songs that she went to a music school. Like, I think that might be where she and Florence went to school together, because she grew up in kind of like a much more blue collar part of London. And she, I think, like, her mom, like, she was raised, I think, by like a single mother, and had to work pretty hard to get into this music school. I think she was like a scholarship student. These are all things that, again, I'm just dusting off from the Mind Palace, so it might not be correct. But she went to music school, and she's not somebody that just kind of like dicked around on a guitar. Like, she is a great pianist. She writes all of her own music. She does a lot of, I think even now she does like all of her own backing vocals, which is great, because she's like, I don't fucking trust anybody else to do this. Like,
that's such a Michael Jordan thing, where it's like, I'm just gonna pass to myself. Like, just give me the ball. No one else can do what I'm about to do right now.
Yeah, basically.
This song is called "Crazy for You." Is there anything, Nick? What are you crazy for?
Oh God, what am I crazy for? I'm crazy for a good snowy afternoon. I mean, and by snowy, I do
snowy afternoon.
Yes, it's just a cozy, nice.
Is that how you tell me you're doing cocaine?
A light powder on the glass table, and a dollar bill, and Santa Claus is there, and
Santa Claus, notorious coke fiend. How else do you think he stays up all night getting across the globe?
Correct. That's how he goes so fast.
I mean, whenever we say cocaine, we always think of Adele. I mean, that is like, oh, we doing an all-nighter, guys? All right, put that 19 on. Let's go.
Yeah. How do you think she lost all the weight?
I mean, listen.
It never worked for me when I was, you know, in my 20s and enjoying powdery days here and there. It never made me skinny. So I don't know. I think it depends on the person.
You're not doing it right, clearly.
I guess not. I guess I wasn't crazy enough for it. But you know what? I certainly am crazy for you.
Oh.
This sounds like a Nirvana song.
Yeah.
I mean, not anymore, but at the beginning.
Myself today singing
I mean, I feel like her voice is just, it's like on that Aretha Franklin level where it's like, it doesn't matter what the song is itself, whatever the music itself is doing, it's just her voice is so butterly amazing that it's just good no matter what.
Exactly. I mean, she's not going to make a bad song. There might be a song that, like, you think is, you know,
Not
simplistic or poppy or whatever.
Yeah.
Not as good, but just the fact that her singing elevates anything that she's a part of.
Right. No one's ever saying, like, yeah, the vocals could use a little work on this one, but other than that,
Yeah.
it's pretty solid.
No one's telling her that.
I did see a video where she was at a concert. I can't remember where it was. I think it was, it doesn't matter where it was. But at a concert, and she was sick, and she, like, apologized before the show, and she was apologizing. She's like, look, I'm sick, I'm gonna try to hit this song, and I want you guys to sing it with me so that we can, like, get through this song
Yes.
together. And was still sounded so amazing. You could tell that, you know, she was not perfect, but...
I have a question, and this is directed to both of you.
Okay.
Who were you at 19? What was going on at 19 for both of you?
Oh, Jesus
That's
Christ.
such a good question.
I was suicidal, man.
Oh, yeah, probably the same.
No, I was not in a good place when I was 19. I was a freshman in college.
What year was this?
This was, all right, you ready to get mad? I think it was 2000. Oh, fuck. It's 2014. 2014.
Okay.
2014. You were
Okay.
19. Okay.
Yeah, I was 19 in 2014. I was going to say 2017. I'm like, nope, I was older than
I'm not that young.
I did my math bad. Yeah, no, I went through like my first real bout with like pretty nasty depression. I broke up with my boyfriend, thinking that was our relationship had been kind of on the rocks. This is the boyfriend that took me to, this is the song that this is something we talked about on the last episode. This is the boyfriend that took me to the Paul McCartney concert.
Yes.
So we broke up after about a year of dating, a little bit more than a year. I broke up with him, and then I like tried to that night. I was like, just kidding. I made a mistake. He was like, no, I think we should stay broken up. But I was going through.
God damn it!
Fuck. It was awful.
I've been
But
right there.
yeah. I mean, like I thought I was, we were going through like a rough patch. Very much like, oh well, it's not like it was in the beginning. A dangerous game to play.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, man, like it was the first time where like really the loudspeaker was on my head where I was like, maybe you should just like call it good and just wrap it up here. And
the most playful way of saying.
I mean, because I don't want to bum people out. Anytime
and that's
I
a
joke,
series rap on Adrianna.
it was a serious rap. All right, everybody, give it up. No, I mean, anytime I talk about having been suicidal, people get so bummed out, and I'm like, no, this is just. But also on the other hand, I'm like, dude, everybody goes through this. And
yes,
like I find out, like,
100%.
no,
it's okay, people.
it's fine. It's cool.
It's actually
it's very trendy to be suicidal.
It's actually weirder if you're
weird not to
never
be.
suicidal in your life. If you get to like
honestly,
in your
honestly,
60s,
it is. Honestly, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But the good thing was, that was also the summer that Robin Williams killed himself, and I was like in the middle of all of that, and it was really, really like that's I think the celebrity death that I like that was the hardest for me because of where I was.
Mm-hmm.
But the good thing is that I got to a point where I was just so miserable that I was like, I don't want to feel this way anymore. I started doing therapy with my, like, still to this date, the best therapist that I've ever had. Shouts out to Bob. He will not hear this. But he, like, yeah, I mean, it was a good thing that I ended up finding, I ended up getting a therapist, and I I, moved out of the dorms. I made better friends. I started doing speech and debate, and it really turned things around for me. So, happy to be here.
Let this be a message to any listener who's going through a hard time. You know what? You want it to end. I've been right there with you. We've wanted it to end. So make it end by getting some fucking help.
Get some help. I think the thing that I really also needed at the time, which I wouldn't get until a few years later, was medication. It's fine. It's good. It's great. Yep.
Let's see. When I was 19, God, the year was 1922. The Brooklyn Dodgers were big. This next song, I want to say I don't recognize it, but I don't recognize any of these fucking songs. Do you have anything good to say about this one?
This one's a banger. You need to listen to it.
All right, This is the banger we need to listen to. This is Melt My Heart to Stone.
Right under my feet is air made of bricks.
Okay, we can kind of talk through this part. So it goes, it's very mellow. It's very like, you got your piano, you're having a good time.
Mellow. Who does that remind me of?
The color yellow.
Yes.
That's it. We have a running joke that Nick is we always call him Mellow.
That's cute.
And it's now like caught on to where it's in different medium, like it's on like different podcasts where I'm calling him Mellow.
All right, here's where you got to shut up. All right.
Oh, okay. This is
I'm sorry for cutting you off. All right, and
I hear your words that I made up.
Okay. This is some good foreshadowing of what's to come in her career. This is some classic Adele right
Oh,
now.
yes.
Yeah.
But it is my absolute favorite part is where like her voice cracks going up.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so intentional because she does it every single time with this song. And it just sounds like, I know like a crack is technically something that would be like it's imperfect in nature, but it works. It's my favorite part of the song. Just like, it's so intentional, it's so great. It's like nice and squeaky, and I love it.
I think that's what makes some songs is it's not about music. Isn't about perfection. Music isn't about like everything being exactly on beat at exactly the right time in exactly the right note, in the right range. It's about being human and all that stuff coming together in this beautiful, messy, but still together situation.
And that's why Michael Bublé really is only successful at Christmas time. He's too perfect otherwise.
Yeah. Christmas, you don't have to have like Christmas music doesn't feel like real music.
No, it is a different form of media altogether.
Yeah.
But that's the zone where
have you ever met one of these people who plays Christmas music all year long?
They're called psychopaths, and you have to avoid that.
How fucked up is that? How do you wake up in June and put on "All I Want for Christmas Is You"?
Okay, let's not say stupid things on this here podcast.
Leave that song out of this.
Stand behind this. Okay. How do you wake up in September and bump fucking Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Jingle Bells?
There you go.
Okay,
that is true insanity.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
It's not like Mariah Carey's gonna hear this. She's been placed back into cryostasis until next year.
But yeah, this song is very much like, it's so moody.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, like you said, just like it's a precursor of things yet to come.
Yes.
We are at this point we're halfway through the album. Wow. We're like we're breezing through this thing. Let's go ahead and take the final break of the show. And when we get back, we'll go through the last 6 songs and finish it up. And we'll be right back with the Spin Doctors.
Perfect. I want wine.
Hey guys, I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank you for listening to the show. We're getting a lot of positive feedback from people, and it feels really good that people are liking the show. If you like the show, why don't you do us a big favor and leave us a review on iTunes or on Spotify or something like that. And if you don't want to do that, why don't you just tell your friends about us? Say, hey, do you like music? Well, I like music, and I like listening to it with my friends, and we can't be around our friends right now, so let's be around these friends in a podcast called Spin Doctors. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks. And we're back. The final segment of the Spin Doctors has come to you at last. The home stretch, as it were. That's it. I don't have any other metaphors.
I was getting
we got
ready
6
for
more
it.
songs. You were waiting for more? You guys
I was
expect so
ready.
much from me. I feel like I'd let you down.
Every day.
Yeah. Speaking of letting people down, that's certainly what I did to the title of this next song. I don't know about you guys, but my one of these it always feels so real, and it feels like it's going to be forever, and then it ends horribly and painfully in ashes, and that is, of course, The First Love.
No, this sounds like how your first love starts out.
No, it sounds like children's music.
Exactly.
But you gotta listen to it.
Innocence. God damn. I mean,
What is the instrument? What instrument is that? Because
xylophone.
is it a xylophone?
Yeah, a xylophone or maybe a marimba.
Ooh. It's orgasm to the ear. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I like how minimalistic most of this album has been too.
which is not what I'm familiar with her, which is great.
Mhm.
Like, this is what's very fun
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah, this is almost like an acoustic album of Adele.
I mean, in the realm of things that will probably never, well, no, it will never happen, but like, Adele does the 20th anniversary of 19 and doing only coffee houses.
Oh, wow.
Beautiful. I'm at that show any
Don't-
day of the week.
Those coffee
Please,
houses are getting
please.
mobbed.
I've discovered a new mission in life. Produce that shit.
Do you have any
Oh my
special
God.
thoughts of that song? I mean, it's a beautiful song.
It used to make me cry all the fucking time.
Yeah,
It is
one of
so
those.
good. It is. It's an absolute tearjerker of a song because it's so, like, the lyrics are so absolutely devastating. If I can try and pull up, here's two, for lack of better words, stanzas. Forgive me, first love, but I'm tired. I need to get away to feel again. Try to understand why. Don't get so close to change my mind. Please wipe that look out of your eyes. It's bribing me to doubt myself. Simply, it's tiring. This love is dried up and stayed behind, and if I stay, I'll be a lie. And then choke on words I'd always hide. Excuse me, first love, but we're through. I need to taste a kiss from someone new. It is devastating.
Yeah, you sound like you're about
It
to
is-
cry.
It is so upsetting. It like you listen to that and like your heart breaks for that other person. But
Yeah.
I think, for those of us who have been on the other end of that, of like falling out of love with somebody and just being like, I just can't do this anymore. Like, not just for your sake, because I care about you, but like I just can't keep doing this. It's
Those lyrics make me
man.
understand why, and this is going to lead me to my next question for you two, both of you. It makes me understand why my first love broke up with me, which I never understood in a way until I heard these lyrics. I was like, okay, that makes more sense. So, on that note, who was your first love, both of you?
I don't want to talk about it.
God damn
I've
it.
already talked about it.
Oh my God.
I've already talked about
You
it.
started a podcast. You are going to express yourself in ways you are not comfortable sharing.
Come on.
She's an amazing person who's probably much better off without me, and was very
No.
nice to me.
No.
But that we had our differences.
My first love bought me a ticket to go see Paul McCartney.
As he should. That guy deserves the Medal of Honor as your first love for having taken
Oh,
you
yeah.
to a Paul McCartney show.
No, and you know what? It was really hard because after I graduated college, I hit him up when I was drunk at a wedding, and then we started
Oof.
another on and off thing, and it like it's honestly, like, it is very much for the best that we are not a thing. He's a great person. I don't have a single bad thing to say about him.
That's always good.
But-
Like, there's those people
Yeah.
who, when they have a breakup with somebody, they're like, oh, you know, she was crazy, or he was a fucking asshole, or whatever, and they just dismiss them completely outright. It's always much more healthy, I feel like, when someone's like, you know, they were great, you know, we were great, but it just didn't happen.
The problem is, though, is it makes it much harder to get over
Oh, yeah,
it
100%.
when
Oh,
it's somebody
yeah.
who's lovely.
Mhm.
But you know what? Like, the way that I see it is, like, it's somebody who helped me grow. I don't want to be the person who gets stuck with somebody that they, like, were with in high school. And, I mean, it's very much I think we are different people, and it's very much a good thing that we're not together. And my heart is open to love, because I know that, because I think especially when you have your first love, especially somebody that you either are introduced to like a little later in your adolescence, or if it's somebody who you've been with for a very long time, it's very hard to like be like, okay, we're gonna like I can move on. Like, oh, like there's this part of your head where you're like, I'm never, like, nobody's ever gonna love me again, like this was it, I fucking blew it. And then as you get older you realize, like, oh thank god.
Yeah,
no,
you're
that's
absolutely
not-
right.
People,
You're
people aren't special. People aren't special. Like, in the grand scheme of things, people aren't that special. They can be special to you, but nobody individually is so special that they can't, like, I don't know, like,
Eventually,
that you will find
like,
somebody
yeah.
else.
No one has.
Yeah, you'll be okay.
There's not a soulmate that is your one missing piece that only that one person can complete you.
No,
No.
you
I
have
keep
multiple
telling
people
myself
out
that.
there. You same. I'm like, I will
And
love
eventually,
again
one
eventually.
of these days, I will be right as rain.
Oh.
Another good segue.
Ooh, what are we
Oh,
doing
damn.
here, Deli?
This one-
Woo-hoo-hoo.
All right. I love Austin Powers.
Right?
This is track 8. This is the one that
We're all
was
dancing.
on Saturday Night Live. Yeah.
We're having a Discord Zoom dance party.
Which is actually quite rare, and this isn't a shot against Adele, but like there isn't many Adele songs where you're like, oh shit, time to hit the dance floor.
Yeah. I don't know, but do you ever boogie to Skyfall? That shit. Oh damn. This sounds like an Amy Winehouse song.
Right?
Amy Winehouse and Adele are not that, like, those are two very influential artists when it comes to, like, my particular singing style.
Yeah, this
God,
like
I
kind of
love
jazzy
Amy
throwback on
Winehouse.
top of
Fucking
that.
rest in peace.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, and this is very much one of those songs where it's like, if Adele was like, I don't want to do this, I'll give it to Amy, and like she would have been like, all right, thanks then. Like, it would have been, they both sound the same.
Yeah.
That it would have just been like, it would have popped off either way. This is such a fun song. So
Yeah.
this is, I think, the other one that she did on Saturday Night Live, and with a good reason, because it's just so fucking fun. Like, it's
Right,
so
yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Especially because the last 3 songs were so very emotionally intense,
Mhm.
and it's such a whiplash when you listen to First Love, which is so just plaintive, and then you're like, all right, and now let's pick it back up, let's go. It's really fun.
Yeah, it's always fun to like listen when you listen through an album all the way. Sometimes you get that like you said, whiplash, where it was just 3 songs in a row of absolute sorrow, especially First Love, which, like you said, is just a heartbreaking song. And then it's just like, all right, motherfucker, now boogie. Ooh,
Let's go.
Here's a thought here. Is Adele just Amy Winehouse without the drugs?
Yeah, I would say so.
Discuss.
I mean, like,
Yeah, Adrianna, speak on that.
Amy Winehouse, I think, like, without the drugs, I don't know if you necessarily would have had Back to Black, especially
No.
because that opening song, Rehab, is so, like, that's about her issues with drugs.
Yeah.
But her earlier works, especially, I think the album is called Frank. I think that might be her first album. Like, she very
it's
much
Chuck.
is
Jesus.
Chuck. Charlie. No. It's Frank is, I think, one that might have been less drug induced. She was very much into like jazz music. That was kind of like her niche. That was her thing at the time. And I think it was the pressure of being so famous in accompaniment of having to deal with like all of the pressure of like, okay, I'm a young person, because she was only 27 when she passed away. I'm 25. I'm turning 26 in about a month, and
happy birthday.
It's calm down. It's not my birthday yet.
Nick,
and
how old are you?
31.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Nick.
Thanks.
But yeah, no, I think to be that young and to be under so much pressure, not only from like the paparazzi and like the media, but also like your recording contracts, like I can see how a person, additionally with like bad relationships with your parents and with men and all that,
obviously problems with addiction.
Yeah, and just like naturally having a problem with addiction, it's very easy to turn to that. So I don't know. I think that I think that we wouldn't necessarily have gotten Back to Black, which is a phenomenal album, if Amy Winehouse hadn't been on drugs. But I think we still would have. We definitely would have Amy Winehouse with us today if she hadn't done them.
100%.
Do you think there could be a universe where an Adele and a non-drug Amy Winehouse both exist? Because I think the universe would implode.
I think so, because I don't know. I'm hopeful that way.
Ever the optimist.
That's who I am.
We are on track 9. This is a song. Strangely enough, I haven't heard of this one.
But you have.
This one is actually a Bob Dylan cover.
Yes.
Oh, it's a cover?
It's a cover, and it's very good.
Oh, well, who's it a cover of?
Bob Dylan.
Oh, well, yes, then that makes much more sense. I have heard the song before. This is the song that I have heard so many times before. This is Bob Dylan's, by way of Adele, Make You Feel My Love.
So this is already so much better than Bob's version. I'm a big Bob Dylan fan, but Adele can outdo everyone.
Bob is definitely the songwriter part of singer-songwriter.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I call him Bob. We're close like that.
Bobby D.
Bobby D.
Anything, Rick?
What?
Anything like hitting the memory of like, oh, I know this song?
No, absolutely not.
No, dear God.
Ringing a bell.
What, is there some... Did this play at my dad's funeral or what? Do you know something I don't know? Like, how... Am I supposed to...
It's a well-known Adele song, I feel.
Oh. I know Chasing Pavement, and I know Skyfall.
It's a lesser-known Bob Dylan song as well.
Right?
I know All on Watchtower.
I was
It's a great song.
I was mentioning the girlfriend that I was dating that wanted to go to the Adele concert, and when we first started dating, we were playing a mix I had, and I Want You Back by the Jackson 5 came on, and we were like, jamming to it and everything. I was like, fun facts, a lot of people don't know this, but Bob Dylan actually wrote this song, and the Jackson 5 covered it. And she said, really? And I said, nope! And laughed way too long. It was a run-on joke for so long, so mean. As a music snob that I am, for her who is doing her best and like really trying to get into music with me, being such a dick. So fast forward multiple years later,
and then I chucked a vinyl at her neck like Odd Job.
It's multiple years later, and I put together that this is a Bob Dylan cover, and she's a huge Adele fan, and it's playing in the car one day, and I go, this was a Bob Dylan song, and Adele just covered it. And she goes, you're not going to get me with that again. And I was like, no, you need to go on Wikipedia and look this up. And she did, and it's the reason why we broke up. And it's not
One of you is petty as hell.
I was Tom Petty as hell. But
Hell yeah.
everything else
That
very
relationship was free falling, that's for sure.
It's such a good song, dude.
It's so good. It's
good.
beautiful.
She's so. It's another one of the songs on this album that's very much like, we're gonna use one instrument
Mhm.
and it's gonna sound fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
This is the song that, like, if I had to pick any tune to like I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna sing in public, I'm gonna have somebody accompany me on the piano, like, I think this is the one that I would do, which is very ambitious and probably pretty stupid.
Would this be your
it's-
AGT audition?
God, no, I don't want to be on that show. I don't want to, because everybody sings on America's Got Talent.
I
It's just
know
worse or American Idol.
2 people who have been on America's Got Talent, 2 comedians who have been on America's Got Talent. Neither of them are funny, and one of them is a garbage person. And I'm not even going to plug his name. You can
I'm
look it up
right
if you want.
here. What the hell?
His name is Nickelodeon Melodian.
Yes. Melodian, the co-host of this podcast.
My parents' last name's Melodian, so he's like, we gotta stick with it, so let's go
Hey,
on.
man. We want to call him
We
Nick,
love a
but
theme.
It's got to sound right.
I love
We
Pete
love
and
a
Pete,
theme. Can't tell you. I love Pete and Pete.
but we can't call him Pete.
No, and we already have the dog named Alex Mack.
Next best thing.
And the cat, Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Oh my god, which they're rebooting. They're rebooting
Really?
Are You Afraid of the Dark? I saw a preview because I was watching the football game that was broadcast on Nickelodeon this past weekend, which was delightful as hell.
I saw that they, like, when anybody like hit a touchdown, they would like CGI slime.
it
I'm
was
like,
pandemonium.
oh, that's so good.
Slime.
It was very fun. But anyway, I saw
Only
a
way you can get me to watch football.
It was, and they also had young Sheldon popping up and being like, "A offsides is when the opposite team crosses the line of scrimmage before the ball is spiked."
Wait, is that real?
No, 100% real.
Oh
my
I'm not. I
God.
couldn't make that up. It was so good. But during this broadcast, I saw that they're rebooting Are You Afraid of the Dark? I watched the preview, and honestly, still horribly afraid of that show. My goodness.
It's probably gonna be scarier.
No,
now,
it totally is
too.
going to be scarier because
the
it
production
was
value is going to
scary.
be higher.
And kids are like not as scared as
Mhm.
shit, by shit because they go on the internet.
Yeah.
They're like,
Exact-
this is a creepy.
You really got to try
What's
to
wrong
scare
with
the
you?
shit out of kids these days.
The first
And there-
episode is going to be
I mean,
a
I've
kid
got-
losing his phone.
Yeah.
It's Black Mirror.
Oh yeah, that's true. Black Mirror is modern. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
We are the phone.
Um,
Society.
Whoa.
Whoa.
We are on track 10. Anything to say about this song?
I think if there's gonna be this is the filler song.
I was going to ask.
I
I was
think
going
this is gonna be
yeah.
this is the filler song. This is the one, like, I like it, but it's like compared to the rest of the album, it's like it's not as good.
Okay,
11 isn't a full album. We need 12, Adele.
exactly.
Mhm.
That's why it has the
Fine,
lowest rating.
Here's one that
Shit, it
I
does.
wrote in 5 minutes.
And here it is. This is My Same. I kind of dig this.
I honestly kind of do too. This jazz feel is just kind of getting me want to watch La La Land, baby.
Yes,
When
La
I
La
think of
Land,
jazz, I think
the
of
most
La La
historically
Land.
accurate depiction of jazz to have ever existed in the media. This is fantastic. Why don't you like this? Why is this a
What's
filler
going
for you?
on? What's happening? Why are we filling?
So, this song is good. I love that line. You say, "I've known you longer, my dear."
So Adele.
This is a good song. The problem is that it's literally like, look at us, we're opposites, and that's pretty much it.
Mhm.
Like it's got a great beat, but as far as like lyrically,
Ah.
it's just so
She's
it pales
better.
in comparison.
She can do better.
to everything else. She has done better. We have evidence by way of the rest of the album.
I think this is an indication of how different people listen to music differently, because I don't think that there would ever be a song that the lyrical content alone would make me be like, oh, this is skippable. To me, what would be skippable is one of the other songs that's less musically complex. To where this one, I'm like, this is one of my favorite tracks on the album because it's got rhythm, it's got funkiness to it, it's got cool like dynamics, and it plays,
stank.
Well. This is a really good song for me, and it's funny that different people hear it differently.
It's like, listen, like I said, it is fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that there are any songs on this album that are bad.
Right.
I think though compared to some of the other tunes on the album, I think it's not as memorable.
Okay.
And it's not as lyrically complex. Like, I know that she can do better, but it is still fun to listen to.
Yeah.
I'm very on the same spectrum with you, Rick.
Yeah, really?
Yes, and that's why we have this podcast together, and I love you.
I love you too, buddy.
There you go.
Can't have one without the other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's that song? Can't have one without the other. Love and Marriage. That's the theme song to Married with Children.
Yeah, married ... with children.
I was like, what is popping into my head right now? And it was the song that is sung to Al Bundy.
Yes.
Correct.
Who is really the
Get it?
Epitome
You got it.
of this next song title. If I was gonna call one person this next song title, it would be Al Bundy, and that is Tired. Say it. I said it.
Preach.
Oh, love it. God damn it.
Yeah.
Are we becoming like the Adele fans where it's like, oh, somebody rolling in the deep, and the other popular song is like, no, you need to go back to the first album, man. It's all about my same and Tired.
Yes, yeah, for real, dude. We're gonna be the Adele deep cuts guys.
At the concert, we're just like in the crowd being like, play Tired!
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Tired? Yes, what you
me?
want.
Nobody's fucking asking for that.
I'm fucking tired.
Alright.
And it's also Rick doing it.
Yeah.
My same! Please, like, really, you, alright?
Please, give me my same. Yeah, this is where, like, let's go ahead and combine the two things that we want. She's got complex, interesting lyrics that are keeping you compelled, and she's giving you electronica. She is giving you the bass. She is giving you that.
She's giving you
beat.
energy. She's giving you vibes. She's giving you everything, honey.
She's giving you everything, honey, and you say, thank you, Adele. You say, thank you very much, Adele. Please, may I have some more? No, not for another 2 fucking years, and then another 6 after that. Fuck you. Like, it's very... This is a song that is, I think... this is a B-side that is great. It deserves a lot more attention. Mm-hmm. It's great. And it's another one that I listened to very moody on the bus.
Oh, yeah. You're like, I'm tired too, Adele. You and me both.
I'm tired of people being mean to me. I'm tired of people pretending that they're my friends.
Yes.
I'm tired of being 13 and unkissed for another 2 years.
Nothing worse than being an unkissed teenager.
Oh my God. It's the worst. Okay, like, very clearly my second glass of wine is like starting to kick in. But no, when I was 13, all I wanted was for a boy to pay attention to me. Because I had learned that was what was important, and 2, that I didn't know that I was bisexual yet, and I could have kissed some of my friends.
You had so many more options than you even knew.
I had more options than I really thought about. And then, like, by the time I was like a freshman in high school, I was like, wait a minute. Hang on. Hang on a second. I could have been kissing a girl this whole time, and it would be another, 3 years before that happened, because I was scared. It is very terrifying in its own way of, confronting that, especially when you're taught like, oh, you're supposed to kiss boys and whatnot. And so that just wasn't on the table for me. But I was just like, God, I need somebody to kiss me right now. Like, that's all I wanted. It's all I wanted.
Yeah.
And then by the time that had happened, so like, let's flash forward. I'm like 14, 15. I have my first kiss. And then like then it's like radio silence for a while.
Radio silence.
Radio silence. And then I'm probably like a junior in high school. And I learned that like all of my friends, or what feels like all of my friends, have gotten to third base. And I'm like, I haven't seen a penis and now I'm going to die alone.
What is third base?
Bad.
Yeah,
third
what
base,
is third base?
No,
third
what's on
base-
second? Sorry. No,
What's on second?
I'm wrong. What's on second?
And
And
who is on first? Who is
Yeah.
on first? I don't know is on third. That's the one that not everybody hops onto. Haha, she's
Yeah, because
studied
you gotta
comedy.
hit the ball a lot further to hop onto third base. It's so not everybody can do that.
You gotta go a little bit further. Third base is, by my definition,
Because that's the thing,
everything
it is different definitions. Like, like to some people, third base is like oral sex. Some people, like, it's just touching under the clothes.
To me, it's pretty much everything but, and it's also very complicated when you get, like, I approach the bases very much like
Mickey
that
Mantle?
is the sure. It's sorry, I don't do sports. Look at me. The bases are like so foreign to me in terms of like, I don't know, like for when you're a woman having sex with another woman, it's much more different. You're not really playing a sport. You're like just performing. You're doing
No, you're playing. I would say it's like bowling. It's just
Yeah, you either do
finding
it or you
holes to
don't.
put your fingers in.
and then you either
Jesus
do it or you don't. Sometimes there's a split. We don't know.
Hey, if
and
she's
sometimes
flexible
you
enough.
and sometimes you strike out. Listen, we've all been there.
Hey, spare.
Yeah,
It's like
no.
to be on a podcast with two men.
I'm bringing that fun feminine energy to the table.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys have had too much of a sausage fest for too long. Let's bring on a lady that will
Yes.
also kiss another lady. Yes. Third base is everything but sticking your penis in a vagina in a heterosexual realm. It is oral. It is stuff in the pants. It's like
Stuff in the pants.
First base is making out. Second base is like everything above the belt. Second base is everything below the belt, besides like sticking it in, and then home base home base is doing that fucking.
Doing that
Yes.
fucking.
I once got my bases
How
mixed
very
up with
clinical of
somebody
you.
I was talking to, and I was like, oh, first base is hand jobs and fingering, second base is oral.
First base is hand job.
Oh, yeah. And then,
Third base
like,
is holding hands.
and then third base is sex, and then the person I was talking to was like, well, then what's home? And then I realized what I said, and like I was so messed up, and I had to like go all in, metaphorically and literally. I was like, oh, and home plate is anal, I guess. So that's how I got through life in high school, I
There you
guess.
go.
No, that's
I
the
think-
dugout.
I think home base is meeting their parents.
Home base is sharing a joint Facebook account.
Oh my god.
Oh,
And I
having,
hope I
having an
hope to strike
Instagram
out before
couple
I
Yeah.
account.
I hope to be caught out before then.
The final song on this album is actually the first single off of the album, which I didn't know at all,
Ooh.
but it is. It's the first single off of the album, and it's the only song on the album to carry the explicit tag. So she probably tells somebody to go fuck themselves or something,
Boy, fuck off.
which sounds good to me. But this is Hometown Glory. So beautiful. Is this the explicit part?
Yes.
Because that piano is just fucking.
Very interesting for a first single. Like this was Adele's introduction to the world.
Is she playing the piano?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yes. She is playing the piano.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, she's not the one that's playing the piano on this. I'm on
well,
Genius
God
right now.
damn it.
Perdoname.
You know what? I had
Neil
one question
Cowley-
for you.
Neil Cowley is the one that is currently playing the piano, but I believe
okay.
she can.
Oh, she has to be able to at least hit a couple chords here and there.
For sure.
She's certainly at least seen one before. I mean, almost certainly.
Is there anyone I could call?
This is a pretty classic Adele.
Yeah, this sounds like it could be Rolling in the Deep or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
This sounds like
Okay, wait,
a
and-
newer.
Oh, that's a classic Adele drop. That's great.
Yes. She gives you a moment to reflect on what she just said, and then let's bring in the strings, let's bring in the piano, let's fucking go.
Adele giveth and she stringeth away.
This song it's so good. She said, like, I'm looking at it right now. She wrote it. This is so insane. She wrote it in 10 minutes at age 15.
Jesus
After
Christ.
she was having an argument where her mom was trying to convince her to go to university in Liverpool. She is from London. She's from South London, and I think that's what this is about. And the lyrics later than the clip that we just heard, she's talking about like, it's great to see, like, I love it in the city. You get to see everybody that's like in their summer clothes, and they're like two worlds colliding. And then the explicit tag comes in with this refrain that says, shows that we ain't gonna stand shit, shows that we are united, shows that we ain't gonna take it, which is such a great, it's just such a great protesty kind of thing. And this song, it's so good, and it makes me think about my relationship with my own hometown.
Mm-hmm.
I'm from this town called Morgan Hill. That's outside of San Jose,
familiar.
where I live now. Morgan Hill. And I have a lot of complicated feelings about Morgan Hill. As I did when I was a kid. When I was a kid, I was very like, God, this is such a boring place to live. This sucks. Like, I fucking hate being here. Because there really wasn't that much to do when I was when I was a kid in Morgan Hill. Like, Sienna, my best friend again of 12 years now. I just love introducing her as that. Like, my best friend of 12 years, Sienna.
It's like her title, like she's a lord of
yeah.
Stratford upon
Case.
Avon.
Correct. Good save.
Thanks.
So she and I would I would walk to her house, which was over an overpass from my place, like my parents' house. I would go and I would walk to her house, and then we would go from her house and walk to Target through like fields and orchards and like back roads and stuff, and eventually we would get to like the neighborhoods, and then eventually we would get to Target, and then we would walk around and then maybe get Starbucks and just like never buy anything, and then we walk back.
Yeah.
And that is what we did. So yeah, when I was a kid, I was very like, this is so boring. And nowadays, I also have complicated feelings that like every time I drive through it, I'm like, there's going to be one day where I leave and I never come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of complicated feelings that I have towards it, but on the other hand, it's where my family grew up. It's where my family had their business, that we have really deep roots there, that some of my closest friends I know because of growing up there. And so it's not necessarily like a hometown glory for me per se, as much as it is like just that, there are a lot of like complicated feelings you have when you're walking around your hometown. And yeah. I mean, yeah, it really resonates for me that I might not feel like this is the place where I belong. I don't want to stay in Morgan Hill, but I think that it's I am who I am because of where I grew up.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I think everybody has a relationship like that with their hometown, whether it's a positive or a negative or something in between. Everybody's got kind of a complicated relationship in some way or another.
Yeah.
Very beautifully said, and totally agree.
Yeah, I'm going to cut
you.
like 2/3 of that out, but very good.
That's fine. I understand.
Oh, we have fun here.
All Rick's
right,
gonna
we reached the end of the
is
album.
have you be like, it's like, and then cut it to me being like, that was beautifully said.
Yeah,
That was
exactly.
beautifully put.
That's what it'll be.
Yeah.
I enjoyed
This
having
was
you
so
on the show
much
for a
fun,
second
just
time.
like last time.
Or the first time, whatever this counts as, it was
First,
wonderful. And you're a fantastic guest.
Yes.
You flatter me deeply. This is so much fun. I was worried for a second. I'm like, okay, we're gonna do this album and it's not gonna be as good as the Beatles episode, but this is really fucking fun. I had so much fun. You guys are so great. Any time you want me back on, I will clear whatever schedule. I'll make it happen because this is so
Hell
much
yeah.
We would love to have you
Yes.
back.
Ah!
And now is your turn to plug. I mean, you did us the favor of being on our show, so go ahead and give us
Finish
your plugs.
that wine
Plug it
and
up.
plug
All
it up.
I finished that wine. Let's fucking do some plugs. Okay, so I do have a podcast. Like Rick said, it's called That Good Shit. There are literally only 6 episodes out. It may be shelved, but I will be having episodes forthcoming of a different podcast called New Flicks. It's a podcast where my friend CJ and I review Netflix original movies, which is fantastic because Netflix just announced that they are like releasing a new movie every week. I'm like,
Oh,
yes!
perfect.
Yes.
So perfect.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Perfect for me. So if you like hearing me talk and just bloviate about bullshit that I don't completely understand all the way, listen to me talk about movies. It's great. CJ, at least my buddy CJ, I can say to his credit, he actually went to film school, so he will be bringing be bringing the technical. I bring a lot more of the like representation and kind of the emotional stuff, and
so he's the expert on your show, much like I'm the expert on this show.
I can't speak to that.
Fuck
I don't want to
you.
insult Nick.
My God. Okay.
The other thing that I would love to plug is I have a show that I do on Zoom and I live stream it to YouTube. It's called Okay So Like. It is a what I like to call a not so late night show where I have guests on. They perform. Mostly it's been stand-up comics. I would love to get musicians, maybe some sketch comics up in the biz. But it's great, and I also fucking need people to watch it because my viewership isn't. It's been a little trying lately, and it's bad. I was like trying to get promo stuff ready before this we started recording this. I'm like, I fucking hate doing this. But please watch that. It's available on YouTube. You can we've got an Instagram for it. It's at Okay So Like Comedy. If you think I'm cute and funny, I am on Twitter at Senator Adrianna because my last name is McCain and I thought that was funny. And then I'm on Instagram at Chonkla Gladiator, where you can see me post things like my Wario makeup my Wario makeup looks. Nick, you're gonna have to. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you're gonna have to in order to see that picture.
Oh,
You
this
gotta
is gonna
see
happen
Adrianna as
instantly.
Wario.
Yes.
It is.
Oh, hell
iconic.
yes.
Thank you.
I
Thank you
can't
very
wait.
much. But that's all I have to plug. And thank you again for having me on.
Well, thank you for being here. Of course.
I will
you.
plug my heart.
Yes.
Thank you. And I love.
we
I love
take your heart
everybody.
plug. And of course, thank you, Adrianna, for being here. And of course, also thank you to Pale Blue Dot for our theme For You off of the album Kingdom, Phylum, Class, Order, Family, Genus, Species. It's a fantastic album. Get it wherever fantastic albums are sold. Also in news, we finally have made a Twitter and an Instagram for the podcast, and in an email even. So on Twitter, we are at SpinDocPod. And on Instagram, we are at SpinDocPod. And then our email, if you want to get in touch with us and send us, suggestions for albums or what your thought is on an album or hate mail because we suck, anything you want to send
bring
us.
that shit hard because I want to go hard in the paint back at anybody. So please.
Yeah.
Bring
Help
the fire.
unleash the Nick.
Bring the mayhem.
We
Mellowboy
are
wants to wake up.
spindoctorspod@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. We love you so much. And as always, I have been Rick.
I've been Nick.
And we're the Spin Doctors. Hope you enjoyed your medicine.
What kind of wine are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking a Chardonnay because I love a Chardonnay.
Nice.
I don't particularly fuck with anything sweeter than that.
Mm-hmm.
I am not like the most that I think I'll probably mess around with is like when it comes to sweet wine, it's like port end of list.
Sweet,
Okay.
sweet wine.
Yeah.
So
Worst song
sugary. So
Gives
sweet
me
to
a
me.
headache.
Adele should
Then
back
I
up you
throw
guys.
up.